incidents related to heavy rain. UK issues warning to its citizens against travel to Sweden, says there's a possibility of a terrorist attack after the recent Quran burning incidents. Four people arrested in relation to Iran's Shiite shrine shooting that left one person dead, lone gunman also in custody. Russia's ruble drops to 100 against the US dollar for the first time since March 2022. Analysts say Moscow can no longer control its currency. The FedEx Cup opener at the St Jude Championship. The cost of living crisis still looms over the UK. A descent in the food inflation to 14.9% has eased the lives of vulnerable families. New analysis shows that the soaring prices of basic food had left some households with two options. Either they can pay their high bills or put food on the table. According to the research by the consumer body group Which, food prices have risen significantly over the past 2 years. Some food products have gone up more than 30% since 2021. These products are milk, cheese, butter and bakery items. Since May 2021, vegetable prices are up 19.1%. Consumer rights groups are urging the supermarkets to stock their cheapest products. And some food charities have also warned that families are struggling to cope with food inflation. According to a study by Step Change, 1 in 7 people skipped meals or have gone without a healthy diet in order to keep up with their bills. Experts have repeatedly warned that inflation is hitting those on the lowest incomes hardest. Food banks in the UK are experiencing the highest levels of need than ever before. Well, for more on this, we're joined by Mark Brolin, economist, geopolitical strategist and author. He's joining us live from London. And Mark, many thanks for your time this morning. It's a stark situation in the UK, isn't it? Particularly for some of the poorest families. What's this latest research really indicating?
Well, it is continuing to be a big problem. I mean, in a way, the inflation is going down a bit, but it might be easy when looking at that if the figures released on Wednesday will be less than 7%, it will be seen as a good thing because inflation is coming down. But 7% is, of course, still a very high figure. So, as you're mentioning, prices are continuing to go up, and as you're also saying, it is a gloomy situation, especially for the less well-off.
And of course, Rishi Sunak has placed a lot of political capital on dealing with this inflation crisis. Are you confident that inflation is going down, and is it going to go down quick enough for him to achieve what he set out to do, to halve it by the end of the year?
Yeah, that's the billion-dollar question that might actually decide the next election. And I don't think anybody can really tell. Inflation will most likely go down quite a bit, but will it go down much enough for him to be able to see it as a victory? That's a very hard one. But I think it will actually go down over the next couple of months, and it might go down now on Wednesday, then it might go up again in September, but after that declining yet again, because energy prices are going down, for now, they actually went up a bit. We have problems in Australia with the LNG facility, and there's also a problem in the Black Sea about supplies. So it's going to go up and down for a bit, but the long-term trend absolutely going down. But will they go down before the next election? That's a difficult one. And of course, everyone in Downing Street is now putting every resource on this, because it will be the deciding factor in the election.
And of course, the UK is suffering with this inflation. But of course, on the other side of the coin, stagnating growth. The economy seems to be in dire straits as well. What impact is that having, the fact that the UK economy is struggling to make any real progress?
Yes, the interaction between these two factors is very interesting as well. And that's where it will be interesting to see how the Bank of England responds next time it has a big meeting. Will they raise interest rates? They probably will. Even though growth is as it is. And that's, of course, a very hard one, because that might lead to stagnation if they raise interest rates even more, especially mortgage holders. They are already in a problematic situation. But many people are arguing that they should actually put it off now and just watch what's happening before they raise interest rates even more, since they are now back to actually historically normal. So that's another factor that everyone is looking at, but they are closely intertwined, as you're saying. So all these factors are intertwined: inflation, interest rates, Bank of England, Rishi Sunak's prospects, and the Labour Party. They are not talking as much about this now for strategic reasons, because it's probably, for them, it's probably better that all the troubles are connected to Rishi Sunak. So they are sort of staying out of it.
Mark Brolin, economist, geopolitical strategist, joining us live from London. Many thanks for your insight there.
Pleasure.
The ongoing industrial action in Britain has contributed to lots of issues in the country. Now, new analysis says nearly 4 million working days have been lost to industrial action. According to a report by the Resolution Foundation, since 2021, almost 70% of trade union membership in the UK public sectors have been responsible for 96% of all days lost to strike action. The report comes amid a recent 5-day walkout by junior doctors in England. Members of the UK's biggest rail workers union also plan to stage fresh strikes on the 26th of August. However, the report noted that high inflation means average weekly pay for all workers is 4.1% lower in real terms. Similarly, the report also said the recent pay decrease in the public sector appears to have contributed to a larger increase in vacancies, as the vacancies in the public sector, like health, education and administration, are 33%. Well, joining us now for more analysis on this is our correspondent Alex Isaac, joining us live from London. And Alex, you've been reporting on the strikes, for most of the year really, and of course it's having a huge impact on things like vacancies and also the fact that just so many days have been lost to strikes.
Well, absolutely. And the real concern here is when it comes to getting people out and buying things on the streets as well. So we're seeing a huge impact on, the inflation. We're talking about that this morning. We're talking about market rates. People aren't going out and spending because they can't get to where they want to go because of these strikes. And of course, that's going to have a huge impact on prices as well, cost and effect. So it isn't just basics of, I can't get to work because I'm going to stay at home today. It's actually a lot of people changing the way that they're living and working due to these strikes. And sadly, the strikes aren't really having as much of an impact as they would have, say, in the 80s. But the Office of National Statistics put out these stats in March, and of course the Resolution Foundation has brought them up again to show how many hours lost. But in reality, it is because people are also changing the way that they're working, and that doesn't look like it's going to be any different moving forward. The public sector, the majority of them have taken that 6% pay rise, and some of them have got an extra extra bonus. But of course, we're still seeing some strikes going ahead. The senior consultants will be going on strikes. We've just had the 4 days junior doctors. And then we still have the RMT union strikes on the tubes and trains. And we're going to see another one of those heading at the end of August. So that's going to also have a huge impact on people just getting out and about. And it is really concerning that there does seem to be this kind of frustration from the UK public. They're still supportive of these people who want to get more money and better working conditions, but also they've had to adapt and change. And it doesn't really seem to be having, as I said, so much of an impact. A lot of people aren't really that fussed about the strikes anymore, and that is going over. The government is also saying, well, you know what, we're not going to give any more money. The public isn't really pushing for it, so we don't seem to be getting any further forward. So it does feel like a lot of these strikes are going to continue rumbling on, because there does seem to be a bit of a quagmire, a sticking point between all of the unions, public and government as well.
Absolutely, Alex. I was with a group of doctors yesterday who said exactly that. There's no end in sight to these strikes from their opinion. So thanks very much for your insight there. After authorities were forced to take migrants off the Bibi Stockholm barge due to a deadly bacteria, local councils say they were warned about the issue to the Home Office contractors. According to Dorset Council, they informed about the Legionella bacteria on August the 7th. However, it's not confirmed what the contractors told the Home Office about the same. According to a Home Office spokesperson, there was a delay from the contractors on passing the information on to them. This raises questions on the UK authorities as to why the asylum seekers were left on the barge until August the 11th. The move comes after traces of Legionella were found to have contaminated the barge's water supply. The waterborne bacteria pathogen is capable of infecting its victims with Legionnaire's disease, a atypical but very severe form of pneumonia. According to authorities, no one on board the barge has displayed any symptoms of an infection until now. The relocation is part of a widely publicised and controversial strategy to deter an influx of illegal immigrants. Niger's junta that toppled Mohamed Bazoum said that they will prosecute the president for high treason and undermining the security of the country. This comes after Bazoum was seen by his doctor amid concerns over his health condition. The regime said that it had gathered evidence that it would use to prosecute the disposed president.
In any event, the government of Niger has to date the necessary gathered evidence to prosecute before the competent national and international authorities the ousted president and his local and foreign accomplices for high treason and undermining the internal and external security of Niger, following his exchanges with the nationals of foreign heads of state and heads of international organizations.
The Nigerian military regime said that the people of Niger have been hard hit by the illegal, inhumane and humiliating sanctions imposed by ECOWAS, the bloc of West African nations, and that people were being deprived of medicines, food and electricity. ECOWAS has severed financial transactions and electricity supplies and closed borders with landlocked Niger, blocking much needed imports to the country. The junta has so far turned down diplomatic efforts by ECOWAS, the US and others, while West Africa's ECOWAS bloc aims to send a parliamentary committee to Niger to meet the coup leaders, making last-ditch regional efforts to restore civilian rule. Teach for America, the non-profit organisation known for placing college graduates in underserved schools across the US, is making waves once again, with a surge of nearly 40% in recruits for the upcoming academic year. The programme's popularity is on the rise. What's driving this renewed interest? It's a blend of factors that can intersect at a critical juncture. While Teach for America offers participants salaries ranging from $33,000 to $68,000 annually, the allure extends beyond mere monetary compensation. Participants are drawn by the prospect of leaving a lasting impact on local schools, particularly those in underserved communities. But the pandemic has introduced a new layer of urgency. The shaky job market and looming economic uncertainty have pushed individuals to seek stability and practical benefits amid mounting student loan debt, which now totals a staggering $1.77 trillion. Teach for America stands out as a beacon of hope. The economic lifeline comes in the form of student loan relief benefits. Teach for America recruits find solace in loan forgiveness programs that mitigate the burden of their educational debt. The Siegel American Corps Education Awards, a pivotal part of the equation, provides participants with around $6,900 that can be used to chip away at student loans after completing the 2-year programme. And the timing couldn't be more opportune, as a pandemic-induced pause on loan payments is set to end soon. Teach for America's offer of debt assistance has never been more compelling.
So the first information you did, that's what?
Sometimes we just want to get Maisie on, right? What? Yeah. When she wags her tail back and forth.
Sad news for fans of tech billionaires Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. It looks like the cage fight between Zuckerberg and Musk might not happen after all. Meta's CEO Zuckerberg has said that it's time to move on, claiming the Tesla boss isn't serious about the cage fight. What was being hyped as the biggest tech showdown soon fizzled out, or so it seems. After the infamous Musk-Zuckerberg cage fight news broke, tech fans were waiting with a bated breath. But now the same fans are disappointed with all the new updates and are calling the alleged fight a PR stunt. In the latest update, Meta CEO Zuckerberg has said that he's moving on, claiming the Tesla boss just isn't serious. Responding to Zuckerberg's announcement, Musk took to X, formerly known as Twitter, and wrote, "Zuck is a chicken." Tech moguls Musk and Mark Zuckerberg have a history of bad blood since 2016. Tensions between the two tech billionaires intensified after the launch of Threads, a text-based conversation app by Meta in July. Threads was being hailed as the new Twitter. Both the tech executives have been talking about getting into a cage fight since June 2023. As per reports, Rome's Colosseum was also being mentioned as a potential venue for the cage fight. Reportedly, the proceeds generated from the fight were intended to be contributed to veteran support organisations. Musk had previously made a suggestion that the battle should take place in a famous Italian landmark. He claimed to have spoken with Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy. But now it looks like all of that smoke was sadly without a fire. Tired of waiting, Zuckerberg has released a statement saying it was time to forget about their cage fight. After all the updates, training pictures and videos, it seems it's game over. Is this the end, or is there more to follow? Or should we say that this was just another Meta Twitter PR stunt?